G'day race fans, it's Adrian here. Welcome back to Just a Ride. Big delivery in the letterbox the other week. That's a lie. It's 7 times the size of our letterbox. A huge box, which contained Racy JC, pre-molded fiberglass, pre-drilled too in some places, you know, like a few little guide drill holes, which is nice. I've already had a quick little test fit onto the bike and I'm astonished to this product. Even if I wasn't so already, as I picked it up out of the box, it was packaged so well. This, like, it was everything. It was top half, bottom half, tail, screen, mudguard. Even came with its own Zeus clips, those little quarter turn fasteners. Very classy. And it's dated, what was it? April the 6th, 2023. I'm here to tell you I hit add to cart on April 27th. So, fresh and new and so ridiculously light. Just obscenely light. I mean, I have a track bike with track fairing and I take that on and off all the time. I know how much it weighs. So, Moto Spares, S-P-A-R-E-S, spares.com.au here in Australia was the mob that I went through to get this. They've obviously got it from China, because when I hit add to cart and here's my big wodge of money, in the immediate email was, thank you for your big wodge of money, and you'll see your product in 6 to 10 weeks. It's like, oh, that is a part of anyone in the Northern Hemisphere. You probably learned this for the first time. It takes forever to get crap down here, down under, and into New Zealand as well. We're a long ways away, is what it is. And it was a very large box too. So I understand the process. But what did happen through motospares.com.au was this product was delivered on the 5th week. They gave me the obviously automatically generated email, went straight to me after I hit take my money, and they said 6 to 10 weeks. Yeah, I'll work that. This thing came, I still had the engine on the bench in parts, and this thing was at the door. I was like, what the hell? Which was good, but put the screws on. So of course I did a quick test fit of the bits that I could, you know, just with the bike sitting there with no engine in it. And even at that point I realized, yeah, my God, this is almost too good to be true. The tail section, which I have faffed with, is remarkably simple. I really thought I was gonna have to go crazy. There's a few things that are getting removed. No, it's still there. Yeah, it seems to be going together pretty damn smoothly, like with little test fits that I have done. So it was, obviously I left you with the engine together. I had to, before the engine was going into that bike, that chassis was going to get painted with diesel for hours on end, and Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off in Zen state, cleaning the hell out of this thing, which I did, which was nice, and then put it all back together. I also had sourced too at this time the new rear shock, which came off of a Gix 1000, which is tunable, adjustable, and robust and up to the task of the track bike. And that went in, like like I said at the start, I knew that these things, and I had heard word. I'd never worked on SV, never owned one, right? But you always hear it's like, oh yeah, I got a Gixxer front end and this, that, and you know, like, what are you doing? People are changing swing arms, I hear, on these things. They're pretty pliable beasts. And this Gixxer rear shock, which was eye to eye, the length of it was 10 mil shorter than what I wanted, or shorter than what I had, but I purchased it anyway, knowing too well that there should be some adjustableness to that whole garb down there. And lo and behold, you get home and you look at it and you put it there and you put the kettle on, you scratch your chin and you realise, oh, I can just change the length of a dog bone. That's a dog bone. That's the original one. There's shorter ones on there now. And then I had to marry this whole chassis suspension linkage bike into motor, which was a terribly nerve-wracking experience, as they always are. Those engine in, engine outs are fraught with danger. They are. So much can go wrong. And that's swing arm. This is quite uniquely Suzuki. I have found that this big threaded collar actually threads into the frame at one point, and then the other side it nuts on there, but on the bit that threads in the frame is this castle nut locking mechanism that's found here on the swing arm and a couple of times on the engine mount, which is a bugger because not everyone's got a castle nut socket, have they? I do. now and thread it into the frame. With a 19mm Phillips head. Sorry, 19mm hex head. Okay. Obviously, once I get some linkage in there, it'll be supporting. But I'm just going to get the subframe on now and probably hang the subframe from the roof. That's what I'll do. Alright, subframe is on. I've got a chop of wood underneath the butt of the bike just holding this up, but the chop of wood's about to go because I'm about to strap the thing to the ceiling. How do I do this? One of those. Two of those. Levitate it. Nice. Alright, linkage. And new rear shock. Oh, the best bits, eh? Getting on the ground. Oh. All right. Only go one way. Okay. That goes to the shock, that goes to the linkage. Okay. Suspension. Just going to hang the shock and then bring that pivoting arm up to the shock Put that through, and then the dog bone up to the swinging arm, and that should be job done. Now this nut and bolt I do have to actually tighten up now, because you don't get another opportunity. That's a 14. You see, there's your problem. That's not even. Is it a 12? It's a 12. Oh, ruined, people. Ruined me. Oh. Feeling every one of my 48 years having to get up and down so many bloody times. And he puts the piece of foam underneath his knee like an old man. Oh, that is tight. Alright, now it's time to get rid of that 12 because that'll stitch me up for the next event, which is getting the dog bones in position. Oh, which actually requires the use of the tether off the roof I've got. It was a bit much. Oh, it's so close. Gotcha. Alright. And the bike should be supporting itself now, with very little to do with that tether off the roof. Alright. Is that on there? It's just perched. Oh God. It's not caught on the carpet. Alright. Now just pivot, pivot, pivot. Still in the jerk, okay. How we looking? The wheels are good. Okay, so far we're good. So I feel I've got to get this under tray sort of sorted, and there is a few changes that need to happen on that under tray. I've got to get that sorted before I can think about laying the wiring harness in there, Because, you know, like it's these things here that house good portions of the wiring harness. So one thing I've got to do is that tab just there and this whole sort of overhang. Most of this overhang has got to go to fit my new tail. So that's where it used to anchor. It's now going to anchor from here. I'm just going to drill a hole through the tail section there, and there's a mounted captured thread there, so I'm going to use that. So there's a few things that will be. I know, that's it. That's the seat. That's going. That's going to go. Yeah, a few little grindy cuts. But yeah, like I said, this plastic under tray has got to get sorted. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay, under tray. Just got hacky with the little Dremel cutting disc tool, and I've cut that piece away, which is, you know, what I didn't need, and I've used that shape to get the template for the next side. Just cutting it with this guy. Let's have at it. Alright, 10 mil. Okay. That's alright, isn't it? It got there. Alright, that's looking pretty good. I think I can take the square edges off those tabs though, just to round it off. That's what I was catching on there. But that's a great success. Time to trim this subframe up. Let's save us a few grams, shall we? Yeah, that'll explain this. Yes. So Adrian made a mistake with the grinder. Let's digest this both together, shall we? This was one of those beautiful little perfect storm moments, which was an accumulation of a number of factors, which ends in a couple of stitches in your thumb. And it's the underlying foundation of this event is ignorance. Not ignorance, laziness. Because ignorance is not being aware of something. But I had awareness. So I'm in there cutting, and I know I'm cutting on the wrong side of that disc in relation to potential kickback from the work. I'm wearing crappy rubber gloves, which is just a joke, isn't it? And I'm there on my own without a soul. No one's around me. So boop, as soon as this happens, you just sort of go into flight or fight mode. There was no pain. It was just like, all right, you need medical attention, and only you can render this to yourself. So pack up your crap and get to the hospital. And bless those people who work in this industry, in the healthcare game. They are exceptional human beings. Bless you all. You're awesome. 2 thumbs up. I'm lucky enough to do that. Yeah. Speaking of which, it was, I knew too well. It was a cut that needed medical attention, but yeah, I hadn't lost my thumb. I was aware of that straight away. So I had this, obviously the shock was there, but it was also this calmness of, hey, it's not all that bad. You just throw a couple of sutures in me and hopefully I'll finish the rest of this subframe this afternoon. That was my initial thought. So I get to the hospital and I have to wait around for, as you do, in the just the whole way. God bless the Australian medical system too, just as a whole. If you're watching this from outside of Australia, yes, I hurt myself. I was rendered professional aid within an hour, and got the best people on the jobs willing to help me and exercise their skill perfectly. Yeah, so I'm at the hospital and I've got this dear old duck who's kind of engaging with me. Oh, what did you do, mate? And I'm there with this wrapped up thumb. I was like, oh, just an ankle grinder. I'm an idiot, like it happens. And this poor old duck who didn't know me from a bar of soap, then I could see it happen in front of me. She just works herself. Like she's there on behalf of her son who's crook, but she works herself into this bubbling bloody mess of the what could ofs. Oh my God, you mean like those spinny things that go really fast and they're loud? You could have taken your hand off. Oh, and she just I was like, okay, I'll just let you spiral over there. That sounds like a personal problem. You can be there, I'll be here. And I just pragmatically went in through the system, obviously had an expert surgeon see it within 40 minutes and go, yeah, mate, you've gone near some sensitive areas, i.e. the anchoring of a tendon on just beneath your thumbnail, and you've gone over the joint as well. These things that you shouldn't be messing with something that spins as fast as the thing that I was holding. So of course it's like surgery that they can assure me it gets done with local anaesthetic, but it's in the operating theatre. So a few hours later, I'm up there, free too, non-Australians. This is all free. And I get seen to by this bloke, and they locally anaesthetise the area. They put the sheet over me, and he has had it with power tools and all manner of things that I was well happy that the sheet was there. And he's telling me about how much of the disc that he had to remove from my thumb. So bless him. Sam, his name was. You're a good man, Dr. Sam. Yeah, so they all got done, got stitched up, and I am lucky. I know I am. I'm not looking that gift horse in the mouth, but race bikes don't have mirrors. Oh, what could have? You could have lost your whole hand and then it bumped up and hit you. What it could have, whatever. All right, it happened. I've got my thumb, super stoked, right? Oh, I've got him. It works. How about that? Keep moving forward. Let's finish this bloody job, shall we? Yeah. Race bikes don't have mirrors. So it was, yeah, let's get back to work. We had some front forks and some front brake upgrades to install. Oh. Springy McSpring face. So here we are. I've moved on changing the existing springs in the bike as opposed to what was my initial thoughts was I was going to do a complete front end change from another bike, a Gixxer or something like that. But I thought there's nothing wrong with that front wheel. There's nothing wrong with the triple clamp, the brakes, it's a bit of a throwaway. So I thought just work the problem. And the problem is the springs in the forks. So I've garnered a bit of information and I was put onto a really tippy top bloody technician who did this work for me. So I have purchased from him a new set of springs that is far superior and stiffer than what was originally in there, which is this guy. From my very rudimentary understanding from what Julian, the technician, told me. This is obviously the original that came out of the bike. This is a progressive spring. It makes sense when you look at it, right? Top of the spring, the first initial starts of dive of the bike. And I'm told the measurement here is Newton meters. Newton. The top half of that, or the top 3/4 of that, is 4 or 4.5 Newton meters, and then it goes down to a tighter spring, 9 Newton meters. So a progressive spring that starts soft and then gets, as you get deeper and deeper, it gets firmer and firmer. I'm here to tell you, in that bike right now is a lineal spring, the opposite to a progressive spring. Lineal, it hasn't got this different, see the wind, right? It's tighter there at 9 Newton meters than it is there at 4.5 Newton meters. In the bike right now is a lineal spring of 9 Newton meters all the way. And you can feel it. You just, grab the triple clamps and just push down on the bike compared to what it was. Wow. And in conjunction with my far stiffer spring, I have what's called a PD valve also in that fork leg right now. And what I'm not real smart, but it seemed all right. They sold it to me well. Julian made sense of it. In conjunction with the stiffer spring and this PD valve, which is in there, gives me, it mimics the feeling of a cartridge fork, a GSXR, the type of fork that I was wanting to put in there, the type of fork that's on my track bike, the type of fork that's on my road bike, type of fork that's on my bloody dirt bike too, actually, cartridge. So I just wanted to smarten up what I had. And I think I've done that with these PD valves and a stiffer spring. There is some adjustability that I do have. I just have a bit of compression. I can put a bit more on to make it stiffer. But my initial thoughts, just in the garage, just feeling the bike, it's like, whoa, that's good and stiff. Luckily that this bike is, it's fit for purpose, isn't it? It's on nice buff, smooth tracks, and you leave the pit lane and your tyres are already warm and you're just hooking into grip straight away. I reckon this will be good. And in conjunction with the Gixxer, I think it was a Gixxer 1000, I was told, a Gixxer 1000 rear shock that's now in there. It's now obviously that's the thing, isn't it? Like it's all, this has to happen and then that has to happen after this, but not before that. And I've got my forks sorted. Awesome. Okay, next step, brakes. Braided lines are going on, little pretty blue ones, and ignore the Australia Post stickers, but Brembo, yes, that's happening. The muster cylinder from hell, I have one of these, or a similar model to this, on my existing Gixxer track bike, and it is the best money you can spend on a track bike. That thing. Screw this whole, you got to chip the motor and fucking blow it up and do this and do that, and it chase ridiculous go fast things where you don't realise that it's the going slower, quicker is where it's at on the track. Oh, Brembo reservoir as well. Oh, the drip of oil. We'll get out of here. But yeah, so now it's nice. I've got the fork sorted. I could move on. Sorting this whole braking situation out, which I think I have done. So let's get this on the bike. Good and tight. Oh, click. There you go. Huh? Think you're fancy, eh? With your blue lines? Yeah. Looks a treat, and it just culminates in this thing. It's oh yeah, it feels good. It does feel good. I am going to get a zip tie, pull that in against the bar overnight, just to get it good and mad. I'm happy with that though. New pads, new lines, new master cylinder, new springs. Happy days. Zeus clips. These ones are really actually quite nice. It's a little spring loaded sort of like a clamp that that these hold on by. Normally in the past I've seen them that point there and that point there are actually rivets that you have to rivet this thing onto the bottom half of the top half of the fairing and then marry the bottom half to it. But yeah, no rivets needed because it's just through tension is held by that little clip. So all you got to do is make a hole, which is what I'm doing here. When you got the first one in, it's such a almost right angle corner that I felt that a Zeus clip up here in the front was a necessity. And there isn't a whole lot of real estate there. I'm going to squeeze 2 in at this side, and I've already done the other side. It's a little bit longer, wider a span on the other side. Obviously it doesn't have this cutout, and I've managed to get 3 in on that. So just for sheer aesthetics, I'm going to put 3 on this side. But I know I could just get away with 2, but 2 more holes will go into that. Back to work. Okay. The old step drill bit, just quietly. Thing's bloody brilliant. Can you see? You see what I'm doing? Here, have a look. Take the tension off that. That'd be smart. And the old file, the old circular file, once you get it a little bit in, you know that's the width I need. Oh my god, ow. It's really hard to release the tension on it so you can get the thing started. Gotcha. Nice. Oh yeah, I'm in there with the fingers that still work on my left hand. Managing to get them to connect. You gotta get yourself connected. Oh, could do with an extra file pass through that hole. It's a bit tight. Where is the? You kind of got to grab it, and you can feel it when you get it. I haven't got. There you go. Got it. Quarter turn. Tight. Love it. top half and bottom half married up. So that was the original mount from, there's a bit of it there actually. That's the original fairing, and that hole, bang, straight on it. The hole's up here on the mirrors, even though race bikes don't have mirrors. Bang, straight on. Obviously I've got to connect these, which I've done. And there's this guy down here as well, which is, I'm gonna have to get a little bit creative. So this is the fastening that I've just taken out from down here, which is the holding the one of 2 bolts that hold the exhaust system onto the frame. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I'm just gonna get like a M3 and thread the, like tap a hole in the center of this nut, and have this go on, Loctite this on. This is holding the exhaust pipe on, super tight. And then a little M3 bolt that goes through. And you see that little hole in there? That then would sit over the top of the head of this, and then I can thread a little M3 nut into the threaded portion of that. Heat shield. That's adhesive on the back. Didn't even know this product existed. Tell you what, I could very well be doing this on the Jigsaw track bike as well. So I've got a few rudimentary tape marks where I kind of need this stuff to go. It may not make any sense to you. It doesn't need to. Makes sense to me. This looks good in asbestos, this stuff. So I'm happy for the open wounds on my hands right now. That asbestos is clearly contained behind the adhesive backing. We're all good, people. Stop holding your breath. Look at that. No creases. The mighty thumb. Oh, silver thumb. And taste aluminium. All right. I'm near at the end of this, guys. This should be the last fettle. Nearly done. Just a handful of little recesses to accommodate the under tray. Oy. And I've also had to do just a wee little sort of patch there for the spring on the side stand. Side stand itself and everything else cleared this fairing, just the bloody spring on it. So I just had to fettle that down, and that was motospares.com.au, a bloody joy to do, and so much easier than I thought it was going to be. So it's and it's painting time. Ow! So I have finally finished the subframe, the job that nearly killed me. Oh, 400 grams of weight saving. Woohoo! So, as you've seen, the lazy 400 grams that I've saved off of this, that's not including the blood loss. That would have been another 400 grams. That was the matching partner to the pill and passenger. That's what I was cutting when I did my thumb, was the matching part to this. So I made good and short. That's good and smooth. And yeah, nice and clean now without that support across here. Got all of the support that I need off of that, and the fact that it's anchored to the frame. So I'm sorted on the subframe. I've got the rear sets on as well. All Loctite up and good to go. That is 4 weeks tomorrow. That scar? Pretty damn happy with that. That's listening to the doctors, staying well hydrated and plenty of rest. Looking after myself. It still moves. Happy days. So the engine hasn't actually been fired yet. Upon the install and everything all going together, I went to put some demineralized water. That was what I wanted. That's what I am going to just fire this bike up with. Once it's good, then coolant, engine ice will go in it. But yeah, putting some demineralized water into the bike, quickly realized that the little overflow on the water pump clutch cover side of the bike, little overflow hose sticks out of the engine casing, that was just piddling water out of it. I quickly realised that there was a mechanical seal housed within the pump housing that I had overlooked because I didn't know what I was looking at. I've never seen a mechanical seal. It's spring kind of pressure related. It looks nothing like a normal seal that I know of. So Andrew at Full Noise gave me a quick little tutorial when I had this part in my hand at the shop going. It was clearly compromised in me dismantling the bike. So the new seal is yet to arrive. So that's why the bike hasn't been fired and it's holding no fluids right now. Hence why everything else sort of got built around it whilst I'm waiting. Good to have that subframe finished for a couple of reasons. And the rear sets on there. Just some of the quick numbers that I had garnered from, like it's the bones of it are done now. I've just got to make the skin look pretty. But the bones are telling me a few things. I did some measurements on this bike when I first got it, when it sat in its original condition. For example, the foot peg height relative to the ground, where your feet are to the ground. What are my numbers here? I'm 90 mil higher than original. What's 90 mil? 90 mil, work it out yourself. In inches, I don't care. Go to metric. My pegs are 90 mils higher than stock standard, and they're 45 mil further back than standard, which gives you that sort of racy JC position that I was after. And one thing I was aware when I first sat on this bike was like, man, this thing is low. It's too low for me. I mean, I know there's an emphasis on center of gravity getting low, but it just didn't feel right when the first and only time I rode this bike was like, yeah, I knew I'm raising the seat height somehow, even if it was extra foam or something. And obviously, here we are. My new dog bones that I created have given me a higher seat by a value of, 55 mils higher in the seat. The wheelbase has stayed the same, just the subframe has just sort of come up with that new linkage. So I've sort of pieced the bike together enough to sit on it, seat, tank, foot pegs. And you can feel it like it's not for comfort. This is not for comfort. This is for higher ground clearance and greater corner speed. It's a track bike, isn't it? Of course, and with the new rear shock as well. That's I'm super excited about that, and new hard springs. So I know this has been a bloody
big episode, and I appreciate your patience if you've got this far.
Thanks for your patience, guys. Be happy, be safe.